Myself Naveen Kumar Saini. In the course of Wireless and Mobile Communication, code REC 085. In Unit 5, today we are going to discuss about the 4G and next generation networks. So, in the last lecture we have covered the MANET, and previous lectures we have covered some of the technologies from the 2G, 3G, okay, and after that we have discussed about the MANET system. In the last lecture today, in the Unit 5, we will cover some of the very interesting fact about the 4G networks and the next generation systems. So, when we talk about the 4G, so first term which come into our mind, that is mobile phones, right? Because in each mobile we have that thing, that is your data, right? So, when we talk about the mobile phone, it will we see the internet, right? Internet is there. So, that is very important to know about it. So, what is responsible for this type of things? Like we said about the data packets, right? So, in the previous lecture you have discussed about the MANET system, but now we are discussing about the 4G. So, 4G, right? This is a fourth generation. This is a very important point, first thing. So, 4G, which was introduced here in the after 3G. So, it provides a wide area network for the internet access, right? And it provides the very high data rate or the data band, very high bandwidth, and the broadband system, in the broadband system, right? Then according to the WWRF, the 4G is a combination of wired and wireless network in the computers. Then 4G are projected to provide speed up to 100 Mbps while moving and 1 Gbps while stationary. So, when we talk about the 4G network, right? So, the another term which come into our mind, that is LTE, long term evolution, right? So, in that long term evolution, what are the things which is included and what are different transmission schemes or techniques are used for that? So, for this, when we talk about the LTE, just for example I am taking, so in LTE the data rate will be very high, bandwidth utilization is very high, spectral efficiency will be very high, and the utilization of the coverage is also large. So, in the case of when we talk about this 4G network, so which also improve the high speed, right? Okay. So, there is a in this network, in the 4G network, there is the which is IP based network. So, for that, the characterization of this IP based network, that is a connection between all the nodes, and the different layers are there. So, this IP based core network, that is your broadcast DVB or DAB, and cellular GSM 2G network, 2G plus network, and this cellular UMTS 3G, and that is WLAN, HyperLAN, and cellular 4G system, and the short range PAN, LAN, and WLAN. So, it shows that all this network which is IP based network, so this is compatible with the previous generation networks, right? So, the example is already given here. So, it shows that this network is compatible and it can use the network of the previous generations like 2G and 3G or 2.5G, 3.79 and all, right? 75G itself. So, these type of networks can be compatible with this system. So, there are the full forms which is simply mentioned here, the legends for that: PAN, personal area network; LAN, local area network; WLAN, wide area network; DVB, that is digital video broadcast, and then we have some of the another terms, that is DAV, digital analog broadcast, MEN, metropolitan area network; UMTS, we have covered already these things, universal mobile telecommunication system; and WLAN, wireless local area networks. So, there are some features of the 4G system, and there are some of the challenges are there also available there. So, some key features about the 4G system, like that is as per the user's point of view, that how to maintain the connection all the time and how to transmit the data in large data for the long distance itself. So one of the challenge is high usability of the system, right? So it's said already for the 4G system, that is anytime, anywhere, and with the any technology, means it must be compatible with all the previous technologies, as I said previously. It supports for multimedia services at low transmission cost. So the technique which is used in the 4G system in the transmission scheme, that is OFDM, which we have already covered. In the OFDM, what it does, it converts the frequency selective fading channels into the flat fading channels. It means when the high bandwidth data will be is converted into small low bandwidth or low rate data rate. So for transmitting the complete data in the small chunks of the packets, so transmission of these low chunks of packets will be create very low cost. So that is why it is a low transmission cost for that. Personalization, right? Okay, integrated services. So it shows some network 4G mobile communication system where the users are there and comprise connected with different systems, and that is connected with your base station. So this base station may be connected with your laptop, or it may be connected with some cloud or network of the system, and there is some terms like terminals, air interfaces, access points, mobile accesses, fixed backbone, and some of the more applications of this 4G mobile communication system, right? So this is simply architecture which is simply showing how this 4G system is connected with all. So features, when we talk about in the 4G networks, which is all IP based heterogeneous networks, okay, so which allows users to use any system at any time and anywhere. Okay, so in this the user carries an integrated terminal that can be used as a wide range of applications which provide by the multiple wireless networks. And in this the 4G system, which provides not only the telecommunication systems but also data and multimedia. So these are the very important feature in the 4G system, data and multimedia, right? So these services can be supported by the 4G systems. So to support multimedia services, high data rate services with the system reliability, which is provided by the 4G system itself, and at the same time a low bit transmission cost maintained by an improved spectral efficiency, okay, of the system. So this is very important, that high data rate, spectral efficiency must be high, and utilization of the bandwidth must be efficient, and the interference must be low. So these are the basic requirements, or you can say the features of the 4G systems. So in the personalized services, in that which provided by the 4G networks, it is expected that when the 4G services are launched, users in widely different locations can be used for that services, right? And so different locations, occupations, and economic classes will use the services. So in order to meet the demands of these diverse users, service providers design personal and customized service for them. So 4G systems, which also provide facilities for integrated services, and which can integrate services and users can multiple services from any service provider at the same time. So these are some basic differences between the 3G and the 4G system. So if we talk about the frequency band, the frequency band in the case of 3G is 1.8 to 2.5 gigahertz, and in the 4G system it is 2 to 8 gigahertz. For our error correction code, which is turbo code, is used in the case of 3G system, and in the 4G system concatenated codes are given. When we talk about the data throughput, so and in the case of third generation system, it is up to 3.1 Mbps, and in the case of 4G system, it is practically speaking, when we talk about, so it will be 3 to 5 Mbps, but estimated range it will be 100 to 300 Mbps. So these are theoretical values. As we know, the practical values will be different as compared to the theoretical values, right? So practical values will be less as compared to the estimated value which is gained by the theoretical point of view. Then we have the last, that is next, in fact we cannot show the last, data transfer rate. So for that, in the 3G system it will be 2 Mbps or little bit more from that. And when we talk about 4G system, it will be 20 Mbps and more. So peak downloading rate for the case of 3G system, it will be 1 Gbps, and in the 4G system it will be 100 Gbps. Then we have the next point, that is peak upload rate. It will be 50 Mbps in the case of third generation and 500 Mbps in the case of fourth generation system. Next point, that is switching. So as we are very much aware, the circuit switch and the packet switch systems. So in the third generation, both the systems can be used in the circuit switch and the packet switch system. But in the case of 4G, the packet switch system is used for that. Multiple access technique which are used in the 3G system, that is WCDMA and CDMA 2000. But in the case of 4G system, that is multi-carrier CDMA or OFDM system is used. Multiple scheme is used in the case of 4G system. So when we talk about the component design point of view, so for that, the optimized antenna, multi-band adapters, these are included for the designing part of the 3G networks. And in the 4G system, that is the smart antennas. When we talk about the MIMO systems, okay, multi-carrier or multi-user, multi-cell itself, and wideband radios. So these are the component design factors which are included in the case of 3G or 4G system. So next, when we talk about services and the applications, so for that, in the 3G system, CDMA 2000 and UMTS, these are the examples which are used in the case of 3G system. And the 4G systems comprise the WiMAX, LTE and Wi-Fi, in which the smart antenna system like MIMO, if we talk about, these are used. So another broad way of clarifying the 3G system and the 4G system, but one step ahead of 3G, that is a 3.5G. So that is your high speed downlink packet access, that is HSDPA, okay, and this one is the WCDMA system. So whose data rate, whose speed is your 10 Mbps, okay. So this is one step ahead of the 3G system, that is 3.5G. So this is used in European countries itself, and the services which are used, that is your MBS, WSI and all, and the protocol which are used there, OFDM, and the speed, that is 34 Mbps or more than that, and distance, it will be approx 100 meter to little more than 100 meters. Then its frequency, it works on the 60 gigahertz and 40 gigahertz itself. So it shows that this system where the high speed unlicensed women or broadband radio access networks or mobile IP network development system. Okay, so these are the specification range for that. It is used, that is 802.16a OFDM, this is Sprint in fact which we are talking about. Then this value is 10 to 75 Mbps and it will be up to 35 miles, and frequency will be 21,550 megahertz, right? So some of the part which we are going to discuss about this 4G system, which the transmission scheme which we are going to discuss, and then about the infrastructure itself. So first point, that is a single input multiple output. This is the case of your SIMO case. In the basic case is your SISO, single input single output, where the one antenna is used at the transmission end and the one antenna is used at the receiving end. But in the case of SIMO, the single antenna will be used at the transmission end and the more than one antenna will be used at the receiving end. So in that example, we see that n antennas at the receiving end, if the signal received on the antenna have the average the same amplitude. So the diversity or the received diversity will be more in the case of SIMO case. Then they can be added coherently to produce an n square which increase the signal power. So you can say the diversity is more in the case of SIMO case. So there are the n sets of noise sources that are added coherently in the system when it is receiving at the different antennas of the receivers. So it results in the n-fold increase in the noise power itself, right? And hence the overall increase in SINR or SNR value will be given by n square into the signal power which is transmitted from the transmitter divided by n into noise. Okay, so in this case the SNR will become n into SNR naught, right? So the capacity, the formula, Shannon formula, we are very much aware about it, that where C is equal to B log base 2 1 plus n into SNR naught. So this n value, n factor is diversity factor we can say, because this n is the number of receiving antenna at the receiving side. So the capacity will be more. Okay, so it is n times more we can say, not the n time, log n times of the single SNR value. Then we have MESO case. So this is a case of MESO, multiple input single output. So in that case we have the m transmitting antennas and the total power is divided into the different m transmitting antennas. So if the signals add coherently at the receiving antenna, so we get an m-fold increase in the SNR as compared to SISO case. Okay, so because there is only one receiving antenna, so the noise level is same as SISO case. Okay, so the overall increase SNR is approximately, this value will become m square signal power divided by m into noise. So in this case the SNR value will become m into SNR naught. Then we have next very important feature, that is MIMO. So in the MIMO case, that is multiple input multiple output. So this system can be viewed as a combination of MESO and SIMO channels. So in this case it is possible to achieve approximately mn-fold increase the average SNR naught, right? So this is the case, this SNR is the value which is the case of SISO case, right? So this is the case of your SISO, single input single output. But when we talk about the MIMO case, so in that case the capacity will be more and it capacity can be calculated from this formula, but the SNR value will become mn times CISO case SNR value. Okay, so I hope you understood this point. So assume n is greater than equal to m, so we can send the different signals using the same bandwidth, which is still also need to decode at the receiver side. So we create a channel for each of the transmitter, and the capacity will become, so this is the case when we are using the n is greater than m. So it will be b log base 2 1 plus n upon m SNR naught. Okay. So in this case, when we have m of these channels are used for transmission of the signal, so the total capacity will become m times b log base 2 1 plus n upon m SNR naught. Okay. So this is the case for calculating the value of capacity C. So this capacity is nothing but this is the information or the maximum information which can be transmitted. In the informatic theory, we try to find the value of C, or we say this is the Imax. Okay, so this is the maximum value. So these are the different cases for the comparison table for CISO, CMO, MIMO with same input and the MIMO with a different input. So corresponding capacities are given 3.45 times B, 5.66 B and 5.35 B and 7.64 B, and so we can say that this portion for the MIMO case, the capacity is more. So the normalized capacity with respect to the CISO case, so it will become 2 times and the 4 times. The case is when the input is same or the inputs are different. So when we have the different inputs, so in that case the capacity of the MIMO case will be more as compared to the rest of the cases which is given like CISO, CMO, MISO and MIMO with the same input. So this is the techniques which are used in the 4G system or the LTE, if I'm talking about. So MIMO and MISO combination combined techniques are used to improve the efficiency. So these are the to improve the high efficiency or the improve the efficiency and to increase the throughput. Combination of the OFDM and MIMOs altogether work and it will improve the system performance itself. So MIMO and OFDM system transmits independent OFDM modulated data from the multiple antennas simultaneously. At the receiver, OFDM demodulates or demodulation will take place, and MIMO decodes each of the subchannel to extend the data from all transmit antennas on the subchannels. So this is very important point about the OFDM and MIMO, where as I said, there are multiple antennas at the transmission and multiple antennas at the receiver. So the one section like MIMO. So when we talk, so this is the infrastructure of the transmission and the receiver. So when we talk about the channel, so in that case we have to convert the frequency selective channel, which is noisy in nature or the deep fed in nature, so to convert into the fading system, flat fading system. So this flat fading system will have the same spectral components, and due to which the channel performance will be assumed to be same, but in the frequency selective it is not same. So for that purpose we use the OFDM, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. Okay, so these are the advantage: broadband access in the remote locations, affordable cost, speed, seamless connectivity, interoperation, music, data access, photo sharing, internet. So many things are there to get the benefit of the 4G systems. So from a few of the disadvantages also there. So this disadvantage may be your battery life, because when we are using more and more applications, then in that case the consumption of battery will be more. Okay, Second is the implementation. If we are assuming about the architecture, when we are taking part of architecture and we are connecting different antennas at the transmitter and at the receiver. So in that case, the complexity of the system will be more. Hardware, as I said, the complexity will be more because we are using the more and more hardware for using the MIMO system, and we have to connect with different base stations with a central unit. Okay, so for coordination of all these things are very not easy task to deploy the different systems, right? To deploy the 4G network. Present scenario, we are very much aware that everyone is using this system, but the implementation part is really tough because in the present scenario or the situation, we have to consider about the rural area itself and the urban area. So in the rural area, subscriber may be less, but in the urban area, subscribers more, but the interference is more as compared to rural area. So we have to take care about the scenario of the indoor environment or the outdoor environment. So regarding to that, we follow some heterogeneous networks where the picocell, femtocell, and microcell. So these are some division of the cells which we have to take care for today's scenario. So the applications for that is the 4G and the public safety, sensors in the public vehicle, and the cameras in traffic light, first responder route selection, traffic control during disasters, mobile commerce, and entertainment services, communication service, organization services. So these are some of the applications, but we are very much aware that where we are stand now and in our system, because we are very much familiar with going through for the mobile phones only. But when we talk about a research point of view, research and development, you will find so many applications or so many areas through which you can pursue your work. Okay, so last, that is simply next generation network. It shows that what I will finish up to this definition only, that in NGN, that is a next generation network which is widely ranging and it is interpreted variously by the broad variety of players involved in the communication businesses. So only part about this, that internet and the cellular mobile networks continue to different domains. Each has its own protocols and the services, right? So NGN will be the foundation for the creation of new range of multimedia applications that takes full advantage of the characteristics of the broadband networks and the always on capacity. So these terms are generally used for the NGN system. So existing networks for that is the public switched, telephone network, packet switched networks, mobile networks. Okay. So this architecture comprise the network elements which needs for the provision of traditional telephony services, and each element has distinct role within the network and is designed to integrate horizontally with the other elements in the system. So with this statement that a next generation networks architecture will comprise, which is based on the 4 layers, that is access layer, core layer, control layer, and service layer. So it is mentioned completely here that how these all are connected with each other. Okay, so it shows only about the network layers, these different layers, which is just go through this, and the components which comprise media gateway, call server, application creation environment, packet network, and access network. So all of you please go through this portion about the next generation networks, which is one step ahead of the 4G systems. Okay, thank you very much.